Local Government Minister Simeon Brown is due to meet the mayors of Wellington City and Upper Hutt, I think on Monday, after he accused them of failing to provide more detailed information about their plans to address the water shortage. And Wellington is suggesting that there might be an even greater chance. The latest Wellington Week risk modelling shows that there is a 60% chance that the Wellington region will need to move to level 3 restrictions, and this is most likely to occur in the coming week. Now, they already have the current level working, and it's nothing to do with there being a drought. All right, it's not to do with the fact that there's been seasonal weather. This is not Central Otago or Hawke's Bay, Wellington. Clearly obvious. That's pretty bloody obvious. In which is because apparently their infrastructure is simply breaking down, and the amount of leaks that they have. There's also been a suggestion that it's because Wellington has a philosophical view that water meters should not be applied. Now, I live in a district that is in the deepest, darkest heart, as you know, of the South Island. Well, it's not dark. In actual fact, it's got more sunshine hours I see than anybody else last year. But the point is that we have water meters in a very small council with little towns dotted all over the show. And that's actually quite useful for, telling us, number one, how much water we're using and whether or not we're using it, and you make a decision as to whether or not you're going to use that much water, or do you need to save it, or hey kids, don't have a shower so long, or whatever. But also it tells you if they've got a problem, and it tells you pretty quick because you're suddenly using a crap load of water, and it tells you whether or not there's a leak. Wellington doesn't have that. Joining us to talk about this issue and whether or not there is a problem, and whether or not the problem is in good part due to the organisation itself, Conservative councillor, re-elected first-time councillor Tony Randle joins us now. Tony, welcome to the show. Lovely to have you on, and Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you and all your listeners as well.
Tony, it seems almost third world that the capital city of New Zealand in 2024, which has had an abundance of rain, it has to be said, over the spring and summer period, is now looking at having to apply level 3 water restrictions to the entire city. Well, because why? Could you explain that first of all to the rest of us? We don't understand.
It's very simple. It actually is very simple. We haven't spent money doing the basics. It's that simple. We've had a council for the past decade that has got other plans, and the other plans are cycleways, let's get Wellington moving, improved waste recycling, and while we're adding on the annex, we're not painting the house, and that's as simple as that. And this thing has happened for a long time across multiple mayors. I mean, it's not Tory Whānea's fault, but it is Tory Whānea's problem to fix.
Yeah, and also, though, why is Simeon Brown, who is a very fresh-faced local government minister, saying that your council is actually not doing its job in terms of providing basic information so that they can overview? Is that fair criticism?
Well, I haven't been directly involved with that. I haven't seen Simeon's letter or the council's response on that. But
just before you carry on, Sorry, Tony, you're a councillor. Are you saying you actually haven't seen the letter that the local government minister has sent the council?
No, we've asked for information. The council is, when it comes to these sensitive issues, the council seems quite reticent about sharing what's happening.
I mean, that's extraordinary. You're an elected official, for Pete's sake, Tony.
Look, it's very frustrating because when you someone like me who is elected on doing the core service as well, and I go to meetings and like, for example, even back in February 2023 when we did the last annual plan, a number of us stood up, went up and said, look, we've got to focus on these core services. We want to champion to do more water, and that wasn't the priority. They did not prioritise it, and it was only later on in the year that they actually got the extra 10 million, and they asked for 10 million, they got 2.5 million. You would have heard that story. But it hasn't really been top of the agenda.
Tony,
as far as
I'm sitting here agog. I've been in politics for 30 odd years, and local politics as well. I've been a mayor. I'm sitting on a regional council. When a minister writes to a council, it's automatic in any organisation that I've been involved in, and I haven't been involved in a big one like Wellington. There's smaller ones, obviously. Now the Otago Regional Council. It's automatic that is automatically transmitted as soon as it comes into the chief executive, the chairman or the mayor, to all the councillors so that everybody's on the same page. I'm amazed that you don't have that same sort of access as an elected official in Wellington.
Oh, I am too. I don't want to hear about this on the news, that my council is in this position. That there's been communications, really important communications, and I'm not even aware they're occurring. So, it's very frustrating. We've got to have some changes, that's for sure. And the pressure that the minister's putting on the city is really just a spotlight. He's a bit like the boy that says the emperor's got no clothes. He puts a spotlight on what's actually happening on Wellington, and hopefully this will change the direction.
You've got a long-term plan, I think, that you're planning. It usually comes now in the local government process, and that means that you're looking out, particularly at the next 3 years, supposedly 10, which is ridiculous because nobody ever gets to 10. But you're looking out the next 3 years, how you're going to spend your money. Is there a desire around the Wellington City Council to actually concentrate on infrastructure, or are there still a whole lot of sort of greeny community initiatives that are not going to be sacrificed?
Well, we've had some preliminary discussions last year. Of course, the long-term plan is a big plan. It takes a long time to get it sorted. But the honest truth is that the initial plan, this is the plan that I understood before the minister wrote, did not prioritise water. And now I think they're maybe redoing their sums because, they have a long list of other things they want to do. That they're not willing to cut, it seems. That we're buying EV chargers for electric vehicles. We've got a zero waste so that we can, recycle our food scraps, and that's going to cost millions of dollars. I mean, these are things that are very dear to, it seems, the majority of councillors. But, I think water is more important, and I think most people do.
It sort of is. Most people would be agreeing with you.